where you're shopping. Builder's Paradise. What are you saving? Everyday low prices. Builder's Paradise. Everyday low prices. 20% off all day, every day. Builder's Paradise. Saving sweet all day, every day.
Everyday low prices.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Thought That Get Results. I'm Webbo Herbert, and as per usual we are here every Tuesday evening with something that at least we think is of community interest and or of some concern. And if you think that you have something which fits into that category, you'd like to find out how you can be a part of the program, why don't you drop us a line, address it to a Let's Talk program in care of Vaughn Radio, P.O. Box 195, Charlestown in Nevis, or give us a call. Our numbers are 1-869-469-1616 and or 1700. And by the way, those will be the numbers you'll use to be a part of this evening's discussion. Thank you all again for joining us. This is your voice in the community, Thought That Get Results. With regard to your participation in the show, we encourage you to call in on the listed numbers 1-869-469-1616 and or 1700. Here's a suggestion. You have a question or comment, perhaps you can get a pencil, piece of paper, write it down so that you're well organized, and we're getting on the show. You take as little time as possible so that we can accommodate as many of you as we can. We ask only, first of all, you respect yourselves and then respect others, because we will not accept anything we deem that's not within our broadcast standards, but we encourage you to always be forceful with your point. You can also follow our live video stream of this program on our YouTube channel, Vaughn Radio. Click subscribe, and our Facebook channel, Vaughn Radio. Tonight, we've got two segments of the program. The first segment, I just got an idea when I got in here. The first segment, we'll start it this way.
Weak heart must feel it. Elimat speaking here. I would like to let some people know, stronger than ever. All the fans of Toronto, stronger than ever. All the fans in New York City.
I don't know. The fellow who led me to do that, I don't think was unintentional. I don't think it was intentional. It was unintentional, but somebody either intentionally or unintentionally is always bluffing me. But I'll get it right. Santo Barrett, good evening.
Good evening, Webbo.
And how are you?
I'm doing great. And how are you doing, brother? How are you?
You should know better. Get a little closer to the microphone.
I just turned up the level. How about that?
Okay, that's much better. That's where you live.
Thank you.
Right. So you should know better.
Yeah.
Santo, it's good to have you.
Thank you, man. I'm glad to be here. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so why don't we do it this way? You're accustomed to microphones.
Definitely.
Tell the people who you are.
Hey, I'm Santo Barrett, professional musician, and more importantly, a music ambassador for Nevis and St. Kitts for the last 50 years. And I've traveled all over the world representing Nevis and St. Kitts, but particularly Nevis. And when I say all over the world, I'm talking about literally all over the world, with the greatest Calypsonian, the mighty Sparrow, and the king of soca, Arrow. And I've, for those people who know me as a trombonist, they know that I have the fame with Elimat and the GS Brass and the band prior to that was Grandish to Express. I've taught in the schools of Nevis, all the primary schools and the public schools for 7 years, and then later on with the Nevis Cultural Development Foundation for another 5 years. So I spent 12 years, roughly 12 and a half years teaching in Nevis. But I'm here, I'm home now, and I'm home for good, and I'm glad to be here, and I expect to revolutionize Nevis music with a lot of emphasis on the indigenous music of Nevis and St. Kitts, which are string band music and the big drum or the accompanying music for the masquerades. I plan to do a lot of music and put a lot of emphasis on developing youth so that this culture and this heritage of ours could survive and be prolonged.
So you did some work during Culturama for the Calypsonians. You arrange and stuff like that too?
I have. As a matter of fact, I have accompanied, I've conducted the band for 8 different times, 8 of the 12 years that I was here, at least 8 times, 8 or 9 times. I teach the guys how to read music, and I conduct the rehearsals and prepare them for the Calypso final, at least 8 times. But I am a musical arranger, a renowned musical arranger, a composer, a reggae singer, and an accomplished trombonist, and a fifer. As a matter of fact, I play all of the indigenous instruments. My first instrument really was the kettle drum. The kettle drum is that small drum of the masquerade accompanying music that you improvise on. The other one is the bull drum, which is the bass drum, which it plays a regular 4/4 time and straight boom, boom, boom. That really is the foundation of the music. And the fife is really the lead instrument. The fife is that it's a family of the flute, of course, the smaller instrument, and the fife actually dictates all the moves of the performance, dictates the start, the turnaround, and the different dances of the masquerade, and it also dictates the end of a piece. So I'm here, and I plan to rock the boat with music, not just commercial music, but more importantly, the revitalizing of our indigenous music, string band and big drum. And one I just want to add that Nevis has no brass players, and it's high time we get some competent, literate brass players. When I speak of literate, I'm talking about musicians who could read the music and play. That's what we need, instead of importing brass players year after year after year after year. It doesn't make any sense. Nevis has a lot of young talent, and I would know, I speak with authority because I taught them, I worked with them for 12 years. Nevis has a lot of young talent, but it has to be nurtured, it has to be harnessed, they have to be taught. And I'm here and ready, motivated and excited and inspired to.
with the variety of music instruments and things that you do, I'm listening here and you almost sound as good as a fellow we call the other M.
Almost good as what? I missed that.
A fellow we call the other M.
The other N.
M.
M.
Yes.
The other man.
Yeah, he's a fellow with a lot of variety.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to say, I would just say, instead of the other man, I would like to say, I am the man in this case, not the other.
Okay. So when I started out, before I introduce you, I started out with a song. And
Stronger than ever.
right, but that wasn't my doing. A fellow outside sitting told me about that.
I like that.
Right, but I don't think you played on that album.
That was before I started playing music.
So if I had followed my own mind, not that one either.
That was after the breakup of the band.
That's after the band breakup.
Right.
Okay.
As the lyrics.
What about this one?
That's Arrow.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't play on that
I
one.
didn't play on the album, but I
didn't?
was the trombonist that accompanied him all over the world.
All over the world, but you didn't play on the album.
No, I didn't play.
Okay.
I wasn't around then.
Is there something that we have from Arrow or Element that you played on?
Lots of things.
Okay,
Lots
so
of things.
for instance.
Bring up something. I'll give you a song like Yankee in Action by Element.
Yankee in Action.
Yankee in Action.
Okay, let's see if I have that one. What else?
Or Shang Shang, or
Shang Shang, you played on Shang Shang?
yes, Hallelujah Chorus. That was me. That's the trombone. He featured me a lot on that one.
The trombone?
The Hallelujah Chorus, yes.
What about Shang Shang?
Shang Shang, I'm the trombone.
So I want folks to listen carefully for the trombone, right?
You know what it sounds
Okay.
Hit you, ask some more. A tune for brass, a tune for band, any kind of mass, woman or man. If you're feeling cold, it'll make you young. If you're feeling cold, it'll make you jump. And you know this tune from since you're small. This tune is known to one and all. It's so sweet and simple, it will make you tremble and sing. Ilele, sham sham, ilele, sham sham, ilele, sham sham. Keep on jamming. Ilele, sham sham, ilele, sham sham, ilele, sham sham. Till 2 in the morning. Sing and beating, rock and blowing, I am ringing, everybody wailing. Children screaming, buckle belting, police barking, but any man whining. Factory center, carnival fever, with his penny feather. From North Carolina, Ellie Mack was singing, and G.I. was jamming. When suddenly I see this young lady in front of me. She only whining in front the bank, whining and carrying on. This young lady had the crowd buzzing, only whining and going on back, whining. She throwing her like she crazy. Exposing she body, falling, come on, baby.
Okay, so that's, you played on that one,
The whole album.
the whole album,
Played on the whole
and you played on the whole album, the trombone.
Not only trombone, I was a part of the background vocal
Mhm.
on all the songs.
So you sing as well?
Yes, I sing.
Okay, but did you
I'm a reggae singer.
you're a reggae singer? Did you do any recording, records and so on? But
With singing,
with singing, yeah.
I have
Yeah.
something that should be coming out not pretty soon. My own composition, my own song, and my voice.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be singing.
What
It's
type?
Roots rock is roots rock reggae. It's rebel music, and it has some jazz in it, but it's mostly roots rock reggae.
And arranged by you?
Yes, yes, and it produced by Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in a couple of months, you should hear some vocal arrangements by me.
What type of reggae it is? Traditional reggae or what do they call it? Dancehall? What type?
Okay, it's roots rock reggae
Oh.
with a fusion of jazz, straight jazz, or what we call bebop.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz is what I studied, and I found a way since 1991 to develop a new music. It's roots rock reggae jazz. It's a fusion of jazz and roots rock. But the lyrics are protest music. It's rebel music. It's Bob Marley style music, and it's great music.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned jazz
Jazz,
and rhythm and blues and stuff like that.
just jazz.
Just jazz.
Yeah, rhythm and blues is more like Whitney Houston kind of stuff. That's great music too, but I'm not interested in that.
So the jazz would be stuff like B.B. King and stuff like that.
Yeah, B.B. King is blues, but
That's
it's
blues.
very similar. Jazz would be John Coltrane,
Okay.
Charlie Parker, J.J. Johnson, those kind of people.
And when you do the jazz, what's your preferred instrument?
Trombone.
The trombone.
Trombone, yes.
Mhm.
I'm a composer too, but I love the sound of the trombone, and I love to improvise. And jazz is an improvisational music. A lot of it, most of it, is based on improvisation. It gives the individual instrumentalist a chance to express him or herself freely over a set chord pattern. You see. And a lot of non-musicians can't do that. You got to be a musician to be able to do it. I say non-musicians because I was in two bands, two big bands, top bands, and they had hardly had any musicians.
Oh, really?
A few musicians. For example, Elimat and the J Brass.
Uh-huh.
Elimat and J Brass was a big 12-piece band, but only 2 or 3 musicians was in the band.
Okay.
Others were what we call mechanical musicians. They can't hear something and play it. They can't improvise. What he writes, they play. Nothing more, nothing less.
When you were in Elimat and the J Brass, you did any arranging?
No. I was a trombonist and a background vocalist.
Elimat did most
Elimat
of
did all
the
the
arrangements.
But I was doing something there. I was understudying Elimat. I was the youngest member in the band. And I was understudying Elimat, unknowing to Elimat or anybody else in the band.
So that's like something when you're in class then.
Yeah,
You're in class and I'm doing my work and you copy my work unknown to me.
No.
Oh, no, not like that.
That's not a good analogy.
Well, I just checking.
I know, you put it in the sir. Elimat was the teacher.
Yes, yeah.
He is the teacher, and
Right.
I was listening to everything he does, all the arrangements, and observing,
Yes,
and knowing I too want to be an arranger.
right.
And I think I did a pretty good job of it. Not only I was also studying the steel bands steel bands of Trinidad. The band was going to Trinidad every year for Carnival, and I would observe the band. Trinidad always have a steel band in every function that we play. Most times it was Elimat and the J Brass and Byron and the Dragonaires, and then there would be a steel band. They're talking about the big best bands on the planet. I was on to studying them too. You had people bands like Invaders. You've heard about the Invaders, Desperados. Those are the baddest bands on the entire planet. Solo Harmonites, Heineken Pan Vibe, Tokyo. Every time the band break, when Elimat and J Brass break, I would find myself right next to the steel band, stand up and observe everything, listen to all the arrangements, how they play, and then I would come back to sing it, and I would use that knowledge to arrange for one of the steel bands incidentally, it was the steel band champions of singing, Coca-Cola Steel Orchestra, the Panorama Champs. I arranged for them for 2 years. So I was studying in Trinidad when I go to Carnival with Trinidad Carnival with Elimat and the J Brass, and I was studying the steel bands. So I'm also a steel band arranger.
Okay, so let's come now to what you are doing now going forward. What are your plans going forward? Are you going to be? A fellow asked me outside if you're going to be teaching in the schools and stuff like that. Do we know that as yet?
Well, I don't know that as yet, but I would like to. It doesn't matter whether it's in the schools or in the community development centers or on my own privately. The objective is to cultivate a new generation of young, literate musicians. I put a lot of emphasis on the word literate because most musicians in Nevis and singers can't read the music. Take for instance, an artist coming from outside and they don't want to walk with the band. They come with their sheets. As most Calypsonians do, they walk with their sheets in music. And you're going to put it before you. Sometimes they don't have no time to practice and rehearse. They have to be able to read the music. And that was the dilemma I found myself with back in 2001 or 2002. Nobody on the island, no band on the island could read the music. So I had to go through the painstaking task or trouble of teaching the band how to read music, how to read the chords, and And I got them. I did a pretty good job. If you were here in 2001, 2002, 2003, you would have witnessed. I should ask you, did you go to the Calypso finals of those years?
Yeah, I've been to All the Calypso finals.
I imagine you would have been, and the band did a pretty good job.
There's a song which had some very good arrangements in it. He wasn't a great, one of the more popular calypsonians, but the song was a great song.
What was the name?
I'm gonna.
What's the name of the calypsonian? And I'll
you probably don't know his name, but maybe you did some of the work.
Well, if I did some of the work, I have to know his
You
name.
don't know the name. You don't have to know the name. You know Naya?
Naya is Liberd.
No, the great Naya.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know that song?
No.
You don't know that
The
song?
kind of thing the woman tell me. Saying this nigga man is blackmailing she. Saying that if she ain't start talking to me, he can start beating up on the for me, finish. I so hungry and getting ready to starve. I had to ask you man if you the food in me mouth man almost make me choke. I had to ask the woman if she was making joke. I tell she, say come if you wanna come. 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 Long time again, got this kind of fun. I tell she, say come if you wanna come. Say come if you wanna come. Say come if you wanna come.
So you were not around with that song?
I have never heard that before.
You never heard that?
I like it, now I hear it.
You
I like it. I wasn't around.
You got some great music in it, some great arrangement.
Well, it's simple stuff.
Yeah, and I like.
For me, is that you see the word great. I had to say that.
Okay.
They have to define what great mean. Everybody have their own standard. My standard, without biting my tongue, is the world-class standard. It's the highest standard car of soca that has ever been played on the planet.
But my standard is I always using adjectives wrong. So that's why I say it's great.
It's great. It's great. It's
Oh,
great for
okay.
you.
So right. So he has a part in it. He says the last man he beat up end up in Russia.
I got to listen to the song. I was. I like the part. I was more listening to the chorus. They come if you want to come.
Yeah.
I like that.
He has a good hook line.
Yes, I love it. I like it. But that must have been before I came home or after. I never heard it before.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But you know what's interesting is that I thought you arranged it, and that is why
No, that's not my style.
That's not your
That's
style.
very simple stuff. It's nice, but it's sweet and simple.
It's sweet and simple.
I put a little more sophistication in my, because of the jazz influence. My arranging is not just strictly calypso.
So now you just keep bluffing me all the time, or maybe it's my own imagination
And
because
sound good.
I thought you sound
sound good to me. The music sound good. The calypso, and I like his voice. He got a very unique voice.
Yeah, and he's a interesting guy.
Where is he from?
Here in Nevis.
Naya. Never heard of him before.
No, this one is Finn. Mighty Finn.
The Mighty Finn?
Yeah.
Never heard of that one
But
either.
Never heard of him?
Finn, F-I-N?
F-I-N-N, yeah.
Finn.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I never even heard him in the radio.
Yeah, man, this is a...
Well, he sound good to me. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, this...
Why don't you do something? Flamingo keep asking me about this song that so many calypsonians says great arrangement. Fathers. That was done in 2000. He won the crown in 2002. And I understand that Von Radio is the only radio station that has a copy of it. It wasn't recorded, but it was recorded live.
Flamingo told you that?
Yes.
And you believe him?
Well, yeah, of course. Why not?
You believe him?
I believe it. And if you tell me you don't have it, I'll believe you too.
Fathers?
Fathers, yes.
By Flamingo?
Yes. I only have vague memory of it.
Flamingo told you about it? You arranged it?
I was the arranger.
Or you were the arranger?
I was the music arranger, yes.
Okay.
And I was the band director that year, and he won. That's one of the
And the name of it was Fathers?
fathers.
Okay. So if anybody will have it, he said it would be us.
Yes, definitely.
And you believe
I think he
and
tried.
you believe him.
Well, he knows.
Hey man! Somebody done
That's it.
Somebody done hey.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Somebody
Can't
done
hear the
hey.
music.
You can't hear the
Can't hear the
music.
music that I wrote. You know, we didn't part.
But you're hearing Flamingo.
Well, I hear some of the music, but not all of it. A little better.
The typical man figure that to be mature is having more women than Solomon. When things happen and then they conception shows, they try making excuses to run. And most of the problem in our little nation emerge from single parent family. The fathers are there to give firm correction, so children grow up doing as they please. So I'm calling fathers, fathers. The real man stand up to be counted. Be good examples for your children, fathers, fathers. Be fully involved in their training, care and nurture their upbringing. It's not enough to give their necessities. Be mature, shoulder your time responsibilities. Teach them to love and embrace good and not evil. Sound moral principles make sure you instill. Fathers, fathers, mold your children and build a mighty nation.
So you arranged that?
That's one of my arrangements, yeah.
Okay, but you're saying that the music is too low?
No,
You can't hear-
I couldn't hear the music, but when you turned it up, I
But
hear
you
most of
hear
it.
it, you hear it properly?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're on music and you know about music, whether it's simple, sweet, catchy or not, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
50 years of professionalism.
Oh, ladies! Wacko, 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 my girl. Hey, girl, how come God take the time of you? I must have the rest. Let me go. Boom! Woo! Ah! You got me screaming. Oh! Boom! You know, say, yes, the rest down in the place. Aye! Ladies! Look back and walk up on you again, baby. Listen, when I look around and see all in the pretty thing, my heart started to pain because this girl is doing
You never hear that either?
No. But that's quite interesting. That's Wyler's music. It's so interesting what the young people are doing. Very different to the soca generation. The different kind of music, but it's very interesting. It's great music, and but I'm from the old school. I like soca in its raw stage.
So this is more computer rhythm box and stuff like that?
It's a combination.
A combination.
A lot of rhythm box, and it's a lot of digitized music, but also there's a lot of creativity with it. So it's good. It's different to what I did. Kind of soca like Arrow and Sparrow and Super Blue. That is.
You did Super Blue as well?
I have accompanied Super Blue many times, but I never arranged for him.
Oh, okay.
But those guys, they're very and I don't give them any wrong about that. They use their own people. Trinidadians use their own people. I could attest to the fact that I was the baddest trombone man in the North American soca scene. I was the best trombone in terms of sound.
And what are some of the other artists?
I gave the Trinidadians.
What are some of the other artists you played with? Did Sparrow, did Arrow?
I arranged for Sam and the Caribbean Express, which was the backing band for Sparrow from 82 until 85. I was the chief musical arranger. But Sparrow always used people from Trinidad for his recordings. I don't blame him, for that. All the Calypsonians, Kitchener have accompanied Calypso Rose, Francine, Super Blue, Melody, Penguin, you name them. I've accompanied all of them.
Okay, so back to we're gonna get to the other guys in the second segment, but so you're here now. You're available to teach, to music and the art form, string band. So how can folks contact you if they're listening to you and they're interested in,
Interested in what?
in maybe playing the pan, or they have a kid who wants to learn to write and play music, etc.
Okay, I'm not ready to do that as yet.
Okay.
But that is definitely the plan, is to let everyone know. As a matter of fact, people already given me their numbers telling me I have children and I want them to be music.
Okay, very good.
So, of course I could give out my number, but that would be like jumping the gun.
And maybe too many girls may call.
Well, the girl, I passed the stage.
That's just a light moment.
Well, the girls are welcome to call. I want to add this. I don't see enough.
You don't see enough?
Enough girls in music.
Okay.
There are not enough young women and young girls who are taking part in music, especially commercial music, like playing horns, trumpets and trombones and saxophones and those things, piano and bass. I need to see more women.
Okay.
Man don't have no more talent than women.
Okay.
The same amount of talent that we as African people have, the male have, the female have them, and sometimes the women have even more.
Right.
Because I had a class going before I left, about 20 people, and the person, they were coming on pretty good, and then I had to go for an operation in the United States. I ended up spending 12 years over there. Anyway, the person that grasped the concept of notation that I was teaching was a young lady from Barnscott by the name of Valerie Smitten. Valerie Smitten. She's playing alto sax. And she was coming on so good. It's a pity I had to get sick and end up on going. She would have really been incredible. And then I have contact with them. There's Judith Liebert, one of Dad's Liebert. Dad's Liebert, if anyone in the audience doesn't know, is one of Nevis's premier fifers from a generation ago. He died now. He had a nice sound. He didn't do a lot, but he had a beautiful sound. So Judith is his daughter. Judith was playing tenor sax, and she was reading well and playing well. And so we need more women to come into the music. Perhaps that's what it takes to revive our music, commercial music, and the indigenous music.
Okay. Well, so we hope to speak to you again, talk more about the music, more about the culture,
Right.
and so on and so forth. So it's good to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And I don't know why I like to play this song.
When you press this finger,
I just like to play.
that's a good one.
It's a good one. Okay, so we will let that play while we transition and get the other guys in. So thanks again, Santo.
Thank you for having me. Webbo.
All right.
My pleasure.
After New York tour, me back hit this floor. All the talking down, early mat is down. Some jokers try to mash up me brass band, fucking pull up, but they're stupid, they're crazy. I'm a godless man, so please tell them for me. Man gone, man ya. Can you Makazima? Ban gone, ban ya. Can you Makazima? You cannot continue to never start. Can you Makazima? Start out from scratch and do that you smart. Can you Makazima? They want what's in my head. They want to see me dead, but they can't do that 'cause of Eli Matana in the Makazima. When they came with me, some were so sickly. One couldn't sign his name, and next one looked so lame. But now they clean up and they look good. They could show off and eat good food, and they're saying, "Oh, I robbed them." But this blood and enviousness is the real problem. So tell them, man gone, man ya. In your Makazima. Ban gone, ban ya. In your Makazima. You can't continue if you never did start. In your Makazima. Start out from scratch and prove that you're smart. In your Makazima. Oh God, they want what's in my head. Now they want to see me dead, but they can't do that 'cause of Eli Matana in the Makazima.
Always satisfying.
Vaughn Radio.
The Powerhouse.
I wasn't always on television. Writers were not always outside my door. When I was born late one afternoon, October 8th, in Greenville, South Carolina, no writers asked my mother her name. Nobody chose to write down our address. A mama was not supposed to make it, and I was not supposed to make it. You see, I was born to a teenage mother who was born to a teenage mother. I understand. I know abandonment and people being mean to you and saying you're nothing and nobody and can never be anything. I understand. Jesse Jackson is my third name. I'm adopted. When I had no name, my grandmother gave me her name. My name was Jesse Burns till I was 12. So I wouldn't have a blank space. She gave me a name to hold me over. I understand when nobody knows your name. I understand when you have no name. I understand.
I wasn't born in the hospital. Mama didn't have insurance. I was born in the bed at house. I really do understand. Born in a 3-room house, bathroom in the backyard, slop job by the bed, no hot and cold running water. I understand. Wallpaper used for decoration? No. For a windbreaker. I understand. I'm a working person's person. That's why I understand you, whether you're black or white. I understand work. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had a shovel programmed for my hand. My mother, a working woman. Some of the days she went to work early with runs in her stockings. She knew better, but she rolled runs in her stockings so that my brother and I could have matching socks and not be laughed at school. I understand. At 3 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day, we couldn't eat turkey because Mama was preparing somebody else's turkey at 3 o'clock. We had to play football to entertain ourselves. And then around 6 o'clock, she would get off the Alta Vista bus and we would bring up the leftovers and eat our turkey, leftovers, the caucus, the cranberries, around 8 o'clock at night. I really do understand. Every one of these funny labels they put on you, those of you who are watching this broadcast tonight in the projects, on the corners, I understand. Call you outcast, low down, you can't make it, you're nothing, you're from nobody, subclass, underclass. When you see Jesse Jackson, when my name goes in nomination, your name goes in nomination. I was born in the slum, but the slum was not born in me. And it wasn't born in you, and you can make it. Wherever you are tonight, you can make it. Hold your head high. Stick your chest out. You can make it. It gets dark sometimes, but the morning comes. Don't you surrender. Suffering breeds character. Character breeds faith. In the end, faith will not disappoint. You must not surrender. You may or may not get there, but just know that you're qualified and you hold on and hold out. We must never surrender. America will get better and better. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
That's how we begin our second segment. Roger Fifield, good evening.
Good evening, Webbo, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Of course, good evening to all those who are listening and viewing via the various medium. Webbo, I want to thank you once again for the invitation, and of course, your first segment, Webbo, I was listening, and it is really nice to hear Santai on the microphones, and he's one that would have done a lot for music in Nevis, and would continue to do based on what he had said, Webbo. So it was nice listening to him, Webbo. Webbo, I want to say a special good evening to all those who might be celebrating. I want to say a special good evening to my sister Carol. That's what she is known as in the home circle. Most persons in Radio Land would probably know as Juletta. I want to say happy birthday to you, my dear, and may God continue to bless you, guide you, and of course to Vanessa, who celebrated yesterday. Happy belated birthday. Hope you had a wonderful time. Webbo, to those who are sick, those who might be shut in, and those who might be hospitalized, I want to say to you that I want to wish you a speedy recovery. If you're in the hospital, we hope that you would get better the soonest and you'll be home with your loved ones. Webbo, for those who are mourning, I want to sympathize with them and to ask them to keep praying pray to the Lord He would provide that pillar of comfort for you. I want to say a special good evening to the family of the late teacher Franklin Brown, who would have passed away recently. We continue to pray for you and your family. I think that he would have had a family member who reside on St. Kitts who passed away sometime before him, and then he passed away sometime shortly after. So my condolences to the Brown family. I want to say again, condolences to the Marshall and the Heiliger family and the passing of Sterling. I would have heard that on the radio that he will be laid to rest, I think, on the 28th of this month, and I'm sure that he would get a good send-off. He was once a member of the Eastern cricket team, and I want to believe that our team would be there to pay our farewell bid to him, as he was an integral part of our cricket team. The last time he played for Easterns was sometime last year, and we actually won the championship the first time in many, many years, and he's not with us anymore. So, we say hold strong to the family, to his siblings, his children, and all the other loved ones. Webbo, I want to encourage persons who are listening and viewing to call into the radio station. I want to say to them, as per usual, that this is an interactive program. It is a program where we can learn something from you, and you can, of course, learn something from us. Tonight, as every Tuesday night, I'm hoping that we would have a fruitful discussion. And once again, Webbo, I want to thank you very much for the invitation yet again.
Conrad Niall Liebert, good evening.
Good evening, Webbo, and good evening to my colleagues around the table once again. Webbo, I would like to personally welcome Santo back home to Nevis, and we expect that his presence is going to be felt in the musical scene, because I think he, to a great extent, a musical hero. Started out so young, and I know he have really make his mark locally, regionally, and internationally. Yes, I was wrong, obviously. Webbo, he did not play on the stronger that track. Hard. What was the track?
So you fool me.
Some victory would come in some way or the other.
What do you say? You always do?
No, I say, you asked me if I fool you, and I said, well, victory would come in some way or the other.
No, you misled me, so I asked you if you fool me, and you said, do you always do? That's what I'm asking.
No, I did not say that, no. But I suppose, yes, he was with the Grand Dash too, and I suppose he played on tracks like Woodman in Town, and then that music.
No, I'm not going to buy that.
No, don't follow me this time. Don't follow me this time. But I've always been a close listener of the St. Kitts musical scene. I think they had a really high standard, and so I'm happy to hear from him again. I'm happy to know that he's back here for good. On another note, Webbo, you started off the program, or this segment of the program, with some far-reaching and very deeply conscious reminder coming from Jesse Jackson. Speaking to the dignity of people. Doesn't matter where you're from, you can make it. Elating and promoting that concept of hope and the possibilities and opportunities. And when I listen to Jesse, it really touched me in a very particular way, because sometimes societies are such they can really, society can make you feel hopeless. And I think those supporting words coming from not just Jesse, even from you or even from me, is very important sometimes, Webbo. You know, people returning from prison and they've been called in such names, they've been left out in such ways. You know, basically, put aside. And just find it difficult to get going again. So much various ways where people come across, such social impediments and so forth. And so when I listen to Jesse Jackson, I think he have spelled out so many different areas of his life where one could have looked at and think about insufficiency. But I think he have overcome them all, and he have shared that he have become a global figure. He obviously fight for human rights, for humanity, human mobility. Actually, I must say, I once upon a time saw him live because I was at a rally in London, Trafalgar Square. I went to that rally, and it was prior to the passing of Nelson Mandela, and at that rally he had himself, Jesse Jackson, Olivia Tambo, one of the right hands to Nelson Mandela, and Winnie Mandela, three outstanding personal. And I was very young, and I keep wondering, well, what I was doing there. I know what I was doing there, but I had to ask my colleague what year did Nelson Mandela was released, and just to bring back that kind of timing to my head. But I was there, and I always would remember that. It was quite a high-spirited and countless people at Trafalgar Square, London. So yes, I'm happy that you played that, Webbo. Let me just say hello to my friends in the international circles, and once again we are here to be enlightened and to communicate and converse about issues affecting the people. Webbo, thank you once again for extending that invitation to have me in your presence. Thank you so much.
The Honorable Spencer Brand, good evening.
Good evening, Webbo, and a very pleasant good evening to my fellow panelists around the table. I want to thank you, Webbo, for the invitation tonight. I'm indeed grateful for this opportunity to join my colleagues and to share with the people of Nevis, St. Kitts, and further afield. Webbo, you started the second segment of the show with some very poignant comments by the late great freedom and civil rights activist, and now one who have gone on to the great beyond, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Webbo, I think that history would, in my mind, be kind to him, because I believe that he would have been one who would have rubbed shoulder with the late, great Martin Luther King as well in some of the fights and struggles for equality and equal justice and so on for black folks in the United States, brown folks, those kind of people in the United States of America. And I believe that the record would show about that they were able to achieve some semblance of success. Not in my mind totally, because we are still seeing some of that is raising its ugly head once again. So I believe that the world would have lost someone who I think gave the black race, in my mind, a voice at times when they seem to have been voiceless. I believe at times when they felt that the weight of oppression and victimization and all of that kept pushing them down and kept holding them back, and he was courageous, he was bold, and he was brave enough to lend his voice to the cause and to the struggle. And I believe that like I said before, history, I think, would be very kind to him and said that he would have played his part in ensuring that those folks were given an opportunity. Webbo, I moved from one freedom fighter and activist to someone here in Nevis who I thought inspired a generation to look at education as the gateway to perhaps freedom and to perhaps their own liberation. The late Mr. Franklin Brown would have spent many years in the field of education in the St. James's area. One who I think gave a lot of folks who perhaps felt that there was not much of a pathway to much success, but I believe that he was able to inspire the generation. He was able to inspire an island and a nation through education. And I want to, from this rostrum, take this opportunity to offer my very deepest condolences to the Brown family, his wife and his children. It was just a few days ago they laid one of his brothers to rest, and I think that the family have what I would call perhaps a double whammy of the loss in their family. I know it's a very close-knit family. It's a family that support each other. So I want to say to all of the family, we are indeed mourning with you at the loss of, I would think, one of the greatest pioneers here on the island of Nevis when it comes to inspiring people and inspiring an island when it comes to education and trying to use education as the pathway out of poverty. So to the family of Mr. Franklin Brown, certainly want to offer to you my very deepest condolences. Webbo, I also want to offer my condolences to the Hunkins family on the loss of a dear friend, a church member, Lorna, who would have left us a few days ago. I want to say to his daughter and to his mom and to her significant other, to the entire family, how saddened we are, how broken we are for loss. I can only imagine, Webbo, the pain that that family would be going through over the past few days. I know that they would have laid to rest Lorna's own aunt a few months ago. So the family as well is also in deep mourning, the loss of Lorna. I want to say to the family that we are mourning with you, we are broken with you, we share this loss with you. And she was someone who but I know that she played a pivotal role in our banking sector. She played a pivotal role when it comes to our political sphere, so to speak, when it comes to the CCM party. And I think that she also played a very significant role in her family structure as well. So I want to say to them our very deepest condolences, and we hope that while they go through this very difficult and painful period, that they can know that they can still look to their Creator. And Webbo, I want to also offer condolences to our pastoral leader there at the St. Paul's Anglican Church, who would have lost her brother this morning in Guyana, the Reverend Canon Yvette Bagnall. She too is, pastoring us in our darkest moment, and now she herself would now need to be pastored as she mourned the loss of her brother in Guyana. I want to say to the good Reverend and the good Canon that we are with you, we have you, and we are hoping that while you go through this period as well, that you can also look to our Creator to give you strength, to help you, to bear you up, and to encourage you as well. Webbo, I want to say to those persons who are in our various hospitals here in St. Kitts and Nevis, I hope that certainly with divine intervention and with the help of our various medical professionals, that they can get the help that they need and be up and about. Those who are seeking medical attention further afield, I hope that they too can be on the mend. And I hope that while they use this time perhaps to reflect, that they can perhaps draw closer to their Creator even at this time. Webbo, to those who are celebrating, whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, or some accomplishment, I certainly hope that they are having a wonderful evening tonight, and I hope that they can enjoy the celebration and reflect and have a good time and look forward to bigger and better things while they celebrate. Webbo, I would end by saying at this juncture, congratulations to the West Indies team for making it to the Super 8, and I hope that they can continue to go from strength to strength. There are one or two big names who would have already exited, and I am just hoping that West Indies will continue to go from strength to strength in this competition.
So let me just do one thing and say hello to Ted Hobson. I don't have no long speech, Ted, just hello and thank you for always staying with us, whether you're in studio or not. So the other thing I wanted to point out, as we had played the clip from Jesse Jackson, and this is not boasting or anything, this is just by way of information, that we interviewed Jesse Jackson right here in the studio along with Cicely Tyson in 1989. What happened, you remember they had the hurricane and they made us swing through. And you know, Cicely Tyson is of Nivision roots and all that. She's been an actor and stuff like that. And so they came through and we did, you know, interview with them right here in the studio. And the other point I just wanted to make in reference to that and him, Jesse Jackson, is how I saw a clip on the television where when Obama, at Obama's inauguration, he cried real tears. And it was on the basis of the struggle that they had started. And I asked a question, maybe every generation's cause is different. And I asked the rhetorical question whether or not our cause is not vastly different to theirs. Because we don't seem to be fighting for nobody. We seem to only be capitalizing on what somebody did. And whether or not you can describe it as people who came, met the mango trees and the other fruit trees and had a good feast and planted none. So that's my little bit for now, and see whether or not anybody agrees with me.
Well, I would agree and I would disagree, and I want you to stay with me for a minute. The first point you said that you're not going to be boasted, but nothing wrong with you being boasted. Nothing wrong with Van Radio and the Powerhouse being boasting. You have been a trailblazer for many who have come after and tried to emulate. So I don't see anything. I don't see anything wrong with Van Radio. Every now and then, you know, boasting up themselves and
no, it doesn't work like that. If your work speak for you, shut up. And the point I was making though, Brian, is not that we're not boasting, we let you evaluate it, and you did. What we do, we present what we did, you know, and then you evaluate it. So if you think so, well, we appreciate it. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
And I would agree with you in the sense that you are correct that Jesse Jackson and I do remember that inaugural ceremony when he cried and cried and cried, because you're correct. He himself would have tested the waters as a presidential candidate, and he was not successful. But I think, Webbo, that he recognized the struggles that he and others would have gone through, and he recognized that here it is that in his lifetime he was able to see someone of his kind and of his color ascended to the perhaps the highest office in the land, when, you know, as he said, as a child growing up, there were those who felt that they were nothing, and there were those who think that they could not amount to anything. But in his lifetime, he was able to see, and the rest of the world was able to see that that was not the case. So it was a very emotional time for him and other persons who would have stood with him in that struggle, to see that he was able to live to see. And I think, Webbo, that while in their struggle, in their fight for equal rights and justice and freedom, they would have recognized that many persons in that era lost their life in that struggle. Many persons in that period were lynched. Many persons were incarcerated for being accused of things that never really happened. And I think all of those emotions would have came to the fore when he was there sitting and reminiscing and reflecting that, hey, the struggle, after all, we are able to see that we can rise to that level where one of us have now been elevated to the President of the United States. It was I believe that just as he did, many other persons throughout the world at that point would have cried as well. It was a time in history when perhaps many thought that it would have never happened, but it actually did.
Yeah, Webbo, I particularly like there are a few lines that he said that I recall, and that I think still applies to today. And I also like the analogy that you use. But one of the things that he said in his speech is, you know, hold your head high. And I'm sure that we still encourage persons to hold their head high. And he also said to stick out your chest. Sometimes we believe that by sticking out your chest, you're being bombastic and boasting. But sometimes your chest need to be seen. And sometimes the way for it to be seen, you have to stick it out. He would have also said, never surrender. And sometimes it's as if that we have thrown in the towel and given up. But he reminds us that we should never surrender and to keep hope alive. I think it's very important, you know, those few lines, in my opinion, are very, very important. Because we must understand in life that life has its ups and it has its down. And oftentimes when we are down, we want to, you know, done away with hope. But we must be optimistic and keep hope alive at all times. And we have to remind ourselves that a better day would come. A better day would come. How a better day would come, we will have to work towards it. We will have to keep on trying and never give up. So I think that those words, I think, you know, we ought to continue to live by, or to live by them if we are not living by them at the moment. He also said that he was born in the slump, but the slump was not born in him. And I believe, you know, that's a really, really strong statement. You know, where you were born physically, you had absolutely no choice. But having born in the slump, you know, he would have grown up and would have tell himself, look, the slump wasn't born in me. I can overcome. I'm going to work hard for what I truly believe in. And by working hard, you know, holding up my head, I'm going to overcome. And the slump would be forgotten. In that, no one would think that I was born in the slump. I believe those words are profound, in my opinion. Coming back to the analogy that you made, Webbo, earlier on, in terms of the mango trees, what I find now opposed to when I was growing up. And what I'm seeing now too, when I was growing up, I remember my parents, my grandparents, they planting trees and stuff like that, and especially like jelly tree. For some reason, jelly tree used to stay a number of years to bear. But it appears as if now that the jelly trees are bearing, you plant them this year and probably by the end of the year, perhaps they are bearing. And when we really look at it, our generation, I'm saying, it appears as if that we want to build, in a broad-based way for the future. We tend to be short-sighted and not looking 20, 50 years, maybe because some of us probably say that, well, hey, I'm not going to be alive perhaps in the next 50 years, and so why should I? But that attitude, is one that we should rest on the shelf or even, put under the bottom of our feet and think differently. The mango trees, as you use, I'm using your analogy, they were planted years ago, so we didn't have to toil. And because our foreparents would have toiled, they would have toiled so we can reap the benefit. We are now eating. And if we are going to put it back into the Jesse Jackson, the Martin Luther King, they would have toiled and toiled and toiled. Martin Luther King was shot. Jesse Jackson wasn't shot. Back in those early years, persons was scorned upon just because of the pigmentation.
Yeah, but you see, that's the problem the point I was trying to make. That's what we do. We talk about what these fellas have done as if that is our contribution to the whole struggle. But what I want to know is, again, using the analogy, I know you said that a lot of coconut tree plant and stuff like that, right? But I was using, I want to know what trees have we planted in the same struggle. As Edric Stanley would say, are you following me?
I think I'm following you, Webbo.
But you're not sure if it's brand you're following. You're not following me. If you're not following me, say you're not following me. Now you following me?
Man, I'm following you full all the way. Webbo, you speak. Hey, Webbo, the struggle goes on, man.
But the struggle, but that's what we said. The struggle goes on.
Are we
part of it?
But you see, some was sent and some went.
Okay. Which we know which is which?
Webbo, in this world of this heightened materialism, I suppose that a lot of us who can do more to elevate the possibilities for others don't seem to have that bother anymore. And that's why I say some was sent and some went.
Okay.
All
right, if I feel I yield back the time.
Yes, Webbo, thank you. And, Webbo, I believe that what we are to do is to not be focusing on the chatter, but to raise our hands and, try to chant upon what was laid before us. We continue to build on what was laid before us so we can make a pathway, for generations to come, because we have to understand that a generation before would have made a pathway for us. And they made a pathway by the ultimate, by death in some cases. So, we have to plant trees, and trees that are not going to be easily destroyed, or we would harvest in a 2 months or 3 months period, and then it's all gone. But we have to plant, trees that are going to last and the test of time.
Yes, well, as I was saying, the things that Jesse Jackson spoke to, his experiences growing up and so forth, still exists for a lot of people, for the masses of the people, really. We live in Nevis. Nevis is across the board okay, but if you look at other Caribbean islands, you see the disparity, the great gap between the have and the have-nots, the class distinction that exists, and with that comes with opportunity or a lack of opportunity. So these things, the struggle goes on. I mean, one reggae said that we should stop saying the struggle goes on and replace it with prosperity. I don't know how we can so easily and swiftly make that switch, because to me, if we look out throughout the Caribbean, we see people still experiencing extreme difficult situation and looked down upon by those who have prospered to a certain extent. Now it's probably not a race thing, but it's a people thing, and people like Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King and them, they try to teach us differently, They try to emphasize that the strong should help the weak. The strong should be always mindful and remember where they come from, not in glorifying personalities like Jesse Jackson, but to actually be trying to impact in a positive way on life. I read a quote the other day that to me it means a lot. He said, "Don't bother much about success, but try to be valuable." And that's a serious quote, because when you're valuable, now you're moving away from yourself and to add value to someone else. Value meaning, in that sense, impacting on people's life. And there's so many youths I know need the inspiration. I mean, some of them very intelligent, girls and boys. But we fail to probably converse with them on that level. And to inspire them and to really push them, up the ladder, to the top of the ladder, because we got some very intelligent people around here, youngsters who don't even know what they want to be, because they are so intelligent that they can become so many things, actually. And I always tell them, look, man, I wish I was 20 years old, because at that age, you can become anything in today's world, absolutely anything. But some of them, seems to be very intelligent, and some not so academically and academical. And those who are not academical, we tend to don't bother with them too much, and we tend to look down instead of encouraging them and facilitate their interests in positive things, whether it's in skills, whether in inventions. I find in the Caribbean we don't have invention fairs, where people can bring their little ideas of inventing, and I know such things exist in places like England, and sometimes a company would come and buy some little guy simply because he have done this little invention, and a company come and buy him out and realize, what, this is a serious product that can, hit the international market. It happens a lot. So we don't tend to trigger our mind, it's trigger the minds of the youths, them, and the concept of innovation, solutions in these day and age. I mean, I listened last week when I think Fifield said that they had some workshop up in Brown Pasture to teach people how to make stonewall. Let's move on. You understand? I mean, Stonewall is a good thing, but Stonewall is not native to Nevis and the Caribbean. You know, if you travel to places in England and travel throughout that, you got hundreds of miles of Stonewall. Them Stonewall days where white people make the slaves build for them because they come to a little island and they see so many stones. They say, no, we're not bringing a brick from England. Let me make these people. And so we became very skilled at it and so forth. But I sometimes wonder if, you know, supposed to be treading the road of more technological humanity and, you know, advancing the people in modern day science and warfare and things of a more technical nature, because I think Stonewall will be built and people can build Stonewall, you know, but sometimes I look at that sometimes almost like a slavish occupation, and I say that with great tentativity because I know it's a skill in itself, you know. But I think I would encourage the government and people to have a workshop in the more technical areas. Invite people to conduct workshop in the more technical areas to combat this wave of global materialism and this race. In terms of the technical heights where the man and woman have reached and can reach, you know. No bad thing because we are the Caribbean, we only can have workshop and indigenous stuff and things like that. I believe we are slipping a bit, you know, and I think I have moved from inspiring young people and creating opportunities to and speaking to young people into what I'm talking about now, you know, advanced technology and to stimulate the minds in that area. But I think the struggle still continues. The struggle continues because some people who have attained success, you know, from their point of view, have decided to share it with him and herself alone. And some of them come from university and they build a big house and so on, they with a big fence and never ever remember that they have an obligation, a natural obligation at times, to pull whoever you can pull along. It's not everybody is going to be coming along, even though you have your net out pulling people, you know. But I believe that the things that Jesse Jackson reminded us about, and the reason why I say that the show goes on, because there are too many of us who are falling short, who need that push, who need that inspiration, and who need that opportunity, and we are too much involved in materialism and not remembering to pull other people along. Am I making sense, Mr. Prime?
Well, I want to look at this topic from a slightly different angle. And earlier you brought into the mix the voice of the Reverend Jesse Jackson. And I'm here listening, and I am thinking, Webbo, and I'm going to say it, I don't think that we have to look far from right within us, right here, to see that this very institution, Webbo, have, in my mind, played an integral role in allowing persons to be exposed to be able to overcome some of this struggle. This institution, like I said, I'm taking it from a different angle. This very institution, Webbo, that week in, week out, we are privileged to come, and we are privileged to sit here and allowed to speak to thousands of people. Allow us, Webbo, the platform, so to speak, to engage, so to speak, in that struggle. And I think that while in Jesse Jackson's time and in his era, their voice oftentimes were being stifled. Their voice oftentimes were being, in my mind, sought to be placed in a box, and they were not allowed to express themselves. They were not allowed to, so to speak, spread their message. This very institution, Webbo, have pivoted, and the founders of this very institution perhaps saw that vision and saw that need and saw that the necessity to allow people to express themselves.
Yeah, but you see what you don't say. Maybe you don't know.
I'm coming to the struggle part.
Walk with me. The people behind this very institution been demoralized, attempted as well.
Coming to that part.
Oh, you're coming to okay. Go ahead.
And Webbo, while this institution have sought to allow many persons to have that voice and to express that opinion and to be able to ensure that things that are happening, that they can voice that concern, they too, Webbo, have been at times, the attempts have been to shut them up and to stifle them and to keep them down and to demoralize them, right? So the struggle have been as real as it can be in your quest to allow folks to express themselves. There have been those various forces that have sought to demoralize what you guys have been trying to do here.
And some of those forces think I don't know.
Well, they are very foolish if they think that you don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you, Brian. Yeah, I got you. Because it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's never going to be easy. And what I find is interesting is that when those same unnamed persons do it, and then still say how brilliant and great and open and democratic they are. Well, you said they think they're fooling somebody, but it's kind of always very shameful when you end up fooling yourself. Not true, Fifield?
But certainly, I always say to people, you know, that is one thing I would never even attempt to do, is to try to fool myself.
But the truth is, when you fool yourself, you don't know, you know. That's the interesting thing about it.
And the reason that you don't know is because you are fool yourself.
Okay, go ahead, Naya. You want to?
No,
Fifield, go ahead.
Yeah, Webbo, I believe again, Webbo, that maybe one of the ways, some of the ways that we can, you know, continue to build on what, you know, Jesse Jackson and those guys would have said in these modern times. Because as Naya would have said, it is not so much of a race fight now, but maybe a fight, you know, amongst ourselves. And maybe what we need to do is to stand up and, you know, to sow seeds of unity instead of dislike. We probably need to you know, sow the seeds that shows that morals, you know, are still alive and well and should continue to be alive and well. And how we do that, why not just talking, but by practicing it, so persons could, you know, see, you know, actually see that, look at a person and say, well, I can see that this person is living a particular way. He is preaching, he's basically doing what he preaches. And
just let me take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yes, good evening. Good evening to you, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Brand,
Yes, dear.
I want to talk to you, please. Just give me a little minute, dear.
Sure.
I have a hole in my gateway where the water run out. When the rain come, the water dig out that hole. And I'm asking you, please, to help me full it up for me. Send the men them full it up for me. In Hickman's, the boy do a resident.
All right. I
Please write it down.
I'm writing in Hickman's.
Yes. Right there where Melvin do our living.
All right. I get it.
Rada,
yes, Carla.
please remind Mr. Branham, please, because it's urgent. The hole is very deep.
I certainly will do that, Carla. I know exactly who I'm speaking with.
Okay, yes. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you.
Just send the guys.
Just let me take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Good evening, Reverend Panel.
Good evening.
Yes. I think I just heard someone say it's not so much about race anymore. One of the unfortunate things about the last, 5, 6, 7 decades is that one, slavery was abolished, okay? And so we thought that it was no longer racial, when in fact it continues to this day. Just like how it was felt that after the war, after the Cold War, that the Cold War was won, it was the communists had lost, and it was no longer about class as such, when in fact both stigmas exist, right? And in order to alleviate ourselves from both, in order to continue the struggle, so to speak, we have to recognize, first of all, that those elements still exist, which in itself means that we should struggle, should continue the struggle for justice, because in the fair analysis, I guess that's what it's about, right? It was Martin Luther King who said what he said, the arc of justice is long, but the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. When we look at the happenings nowadays, and you see that there are some people, some elements in the world that are trying to reverse these things, to reverse the march towards justice, to go back to things as they were, who say clearly that it's about preserving Western civilization. It's about preserving their culture, a particular culture, a particular religion, Christianity religion, those kinds of things. You see what you're up against. And the fear is that I don't think a lot of people know what they're up against. Once ago, it was pretty clear cut in terms of what was good and what was evil. Now it's not so anymore. Okay? And, I'm afraid that if we, don't identify the shall we say, the enemy, for want of a better word, if we can't fight it. Okay, so I think we've lapsed into complacency. We've grown pretty soft. Somebody said it's about materialistic things now. Yes. We don't know what it was to struggle as such, okay, because our parents did it for us, or forefathers did it for us, and so here we are, you know, and what I think it's going to take is some leader to emerge to show us the way forward. Jackson might have done his part, just like Martin Luther King did his. But there's that big void that is there now, and we're yet to fulfill it. We're yet to fill it. You know, there's been the Mandelas and so on, but they're past. Okay, and nobody yet, I think, has emerged. And so I guess it's a case of waiting for some kind of Messiah. I don't know. But I think it sounds kind of foreboding, I know, but I mean, I don't know if and yes, we should always keep hope alive, but when we look at the forces against that are operating in the world right now, it's easy to become sort of pessimistic, because whereas we thought we were on a pathway, a trajectory of, you know, things being fairer, more just, better, it just seemed in like a twinkle of an eye. That's the surprising part about it. It just seemed like it's on reverse. It's going into reverse. Just like that. You know? And, you know, so I don't know. I don't know what you think about those.
Here's what I think, by way of asking your question. Oh, Ben, you want to deal with him? You want to engage him?
I wanted to ask him if you feel that there is perhaps a new speculative trend when it comes to global geopolitics. Do you get the sense that is what is happening? Do you get the sense that there is that shift?
It's a dramatic, it's an earthquake. More than a shift. You know? Listen, it has been the practice, for instance, by convention, by norms, by agreements and so on. You don't attack hospitals. You don't have collective punishment. You don't interfere in the internal affairs of other countries. Those kinds of things are totally out the door now. Right? And what has replaced it is might is right. Which, put another way, the law of the jungle.
Okay, caller, you had asked a question and I thought I would engage you. I'll answer by way of a question. So, as I listened to you and you were searching for some, answers. So the question I want to ask, you heard about Greenland a few weeks ago, maybe months, a lot about it?
Yes.
Okay, when last you heard about it?
Not recently. Because
okay. You have any reason why? You have any reason why? You know the reason why you may not have heard so much about it recently?
Well, one is there is. I don't think the quest has been abandoned. It has been put on the back burner a bit.
Okay, so you have any reason why it might have been put on the back burner?
Well, I would say I would glean from, for instance, the speech that was delivered at the European the Security Conference up there.
Mm-hmm. And what else?
There is an alliance that it is determined is more important to keep intact than letting something like Greenland.
Okay, what else other than the speech? Anything else that might have caused it?
There are other events that I think have superseded that. I mean, remember there are lots of it's talking a lot of things, right? There's Iran, there's still the Ukraine war.
Anything else?
It sounds like you're thinking one way in particular. What's that?
No, I'm listening. Well, and not thinking. There's a lot of things, and you're correct. So I'm trying to get you to list them. You know, anything else?
No, I
nothing
think
else. Can't think.
That's mainly it.
Yeah, mainly it. Well, walk with me. You realize that the ordinary people push back real hard.
Real hard.
Which ordinary people?
Of Greenland.
Yeah, ordinary folk.
Let's be realistic. There was even an attempt to say that we'll buy it out.
Now walk with me. I'm asking you if you are aware of that.
I'm aware that they said they didn't want to be part of it.
They didn't just say it. They demonstrated it.
Sure, but they could demonstrate all they want. What
right.
I'm saying
walk with. I thought you wanted me to. You know. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying in an atmosphere where might is right, they can demonstrate all they want. If it is decided that that is the way the might is going, that is just the way the might is going.
Okay. All right. I got you. Right. Yeah. Okay. So what I wanted to say, that with that same might is right, which was demonstrated, are we not aware that that might was existent when Jesse Jackson and those people were killed and the dogs and so on were put in them and so on and so forth? The might was there,
yes.
And the might was being exercised.
Yes.
But there is strength in numbers, and you will sacrifice and stuff like that. But that is what is missing, right? You gotta, if you have a big issue now, and most people, you know, see it a certain way and stuff like that. Well, anyway, you get the point. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Webbo, I wanted to say to the caller when he spoke to a Messiah, probably Messiah would have to come. I want to say to the caller that I believe that the Messiah is in all of us. And I think that would probably partly answer the question that you were asking, Webbo. Because it is up to us to take our heads out of the dirt and raise it. And if all of us can do it collectively, but sometimes we are afraid, and we ought not to be afraid once whatever we are doing and whatever we are saying is for the betterment and the upliftment, of others. So I want to believe, you know, that the Messiah in all of us, and sometimes something have to happen, you know, for it to come to the fore. But I really believe that the Messiah is in all of us, and it just need manifesting for some of us to realize. Another thing to Webbo, I think he spoke to slavery and the abolishment of slavery. But I think that the physical aspect of that...
Let me just take this. Good evening. Thank you for holding.
Yeah, good evening. I'm so glad I got in. I've been trying for a while. Today I was listening to CSPAT radio, and a lady wrote a book about Jackson. I think they said she launched it last year. And you know, we talk about sacrifice. People now are united behind political parties. So it is the paramount of the party about issues that people have. And interestingly, you know, many of them say they're fighting for the same thing. But the end result is different. And our young leaders They seem to be ashamed of the past. So you have a lot of these disillusioned youths who are looking for somebody to notice them. I see it every day. You say, well, you could try mentoring them. Oh, them days criminal, them days gang. And they left there, you know. But when, well, I am 77, I'm 78 next month. When Jackson and the others were talking, even though you lived in the Caribbean, you felt a part of the movement. Now, the only movement in this country now is the political party. Whether they're right or they're wrong, if they're a point or not, they don't care. We need people who can say, this is a struggle. Now, when we look at our leaders, some of them come from a very poor situation, you know. I listen to Mr. Bradley and others, one or two. But they're moved so far ahead of the people that they're leading that they've lost connection. I don't know anything about that. So they're not really influencing anybody. Because as soon as they get into political power, they move themselves out of the environment that they lived in. The Prime Minister moved from St. Peter's where he lived. He has had a rough start, but you don't hear much about that. He ain't well get elected, he moved into a gated community. Some go on Frigate Bay. The people are being abandoned now. What kind of thing is that? Everybody don't have the same connection. And the connections seem to be outside of the country. All political parties, we have investors. And they come in and they do as they like. And the poor look on. Look on. Our young people deserve better examples. And you're not talking about giving them skills. You're going to start a program, technical program. And you make it sound good, and then they're in their whole year, no certification. Some of the tutors don't show up. Then they're better off, and in their frustration, they drop out. But we need people like Jackson, Obama. I heard one on the radio today. People who are in the struggle, who are not looking for position, who are not looking for fame. I mean, our people looking for position. You're born poor, whatever. I was born very poor. And I recall teachers at the Bastille, I was at Bastille High School, where there were teachers who had come to the struggle and were despising the children. Oh, them did us to go in the cane field. The curriculum was like that. I taught mathematics. And I used to argue, so why are you giving these children in the bottom classes the same exam at the same time as the children who are faster? We condemn them. We condemn them. We're not going out of our way. It is other people who went out of their way where we are today. We are your station and the other station. Well, I for one and I for 2020 vision and I for something else. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. So rather than trying to lift up our people, lift them up, sometimes you might surprise that the people who are helped, their parents could help them, you know. What about the others? Why do you think they're so frustrated and they're killing each other? They lack hope. They lack hope. And while I'm at it, a lot of human trafficking going on. Right in our eyesight, the well-off turning the young males into homosexual to get a bread, and the females into prostitutes. And it is against the law, you know. It is flaunted. So our children, they don't see any way out. They don't see any way out. Whereas these people, they will go where they are. Oh, I can't go up Newtown. I can't go village. I can't go, well, the valleys are wherever for Nevis. And the people are allowed to settle down in the misery. So I admired Jackson and others before. But our people are content, striving for personal adulation. When election come here, oh, I am for you. Really? Go into the areas, Irish Town, Newtown, slum. Some don't even have toilet. And every time, we're going to give you a house. And then you put the mortgage beyond the people's reach. Our people have failed us, They have failed us. Look at me. I have my big house. What about the mother with 6 children? Well, they are given an NHC house. 2 bedroom, 1 for the mother and the father. And 6 children in one jumped it. And then we condemn them. We need to do better. We need to have people who understand the struggle. They don't get it. They don't get it. And we ignore the situation in which our young people are. And then that is why they go out on the street half naked and they've lost their dignity. And we glorify it. So, may the Lord help us here. And this party business is a party destroying us, Those persons were united behind issues, not party. I don't know what you think about that one. Hello?
Yeah, okay, we got you.
I'll hang up.
Yes, okay. Yeah, anybody want to comment?
Well, it looks like, really and truly, the question is whether or not the people are free to unite behind a political party and not behind issues is what we're dealing with. It looks like our political culture has a lot to do with the have impeded that tendency that it is required to really mobilize people. You have this kind of thing, you're either one party or the other, and you basically twist the situation. You just cannot come together around a particular issue. Otherwise, you are now not the supporter of, and you are the supporter of another party. And so the people are not free because, being a supporter of a one party, sometimes it comes right down to the bread and butter issue and the circumstance that may be created if you don't be the follower of that party. And so the issues are really set aside. So it looks like our political culture and the way things are shaped here, our size obviously have something to do with it, But when that minister of government knows that you are on the street rallying with some other people who looks like they're from the other party because they are elevating an issue and protesting about it, then your bread might cut short, As Bob Marley said, when you try and get some food, your very brother is going to be your enemy, because issues that are seriously pressing, you probably doesn't have that right, that strength, or you just can't support that issue because it seems like you're going against the established party who's probably in government. And so you wonder how that situation can be corrected in a sense, because I think that's where it starts, and that's where things tend to start drifting in a way where people become marginalized, and opportunities have been not created because of that reasons, political affiliation. I do hope I don't have any political enemies. I'm not here to create political enemies, but I would always advance, my idea, my support to issues which is dear to me, regardless of which political party is tabling it and defending it and promoting it, and how much of us it's going to be is another question.
Yes, Webbo, I believe too that it comes down to your mental strength, and your mental fortitude. If you are not strong mentally, I guess that you will be easily swayed, and you can probably be used, for want of a better term, as a puppet. So I believe that, and it goes right back to to slavery, where slavery was abolished some years ago, and as I was saying earlier, I started to say that that probably happened, physical slavery, but the way we think, I believe, is going to dictate, our altitude, how far we can actually reach the very way we think. So I think we need to do some introspection of ourselves and, see how we can, change, have this shift in thinking, and to optimize, our very existence.
But the caller put a few areas of her observation and on the table for perhaps all of us to give some consideration to. I believe that she would have said that we perhaps are now lining up behind political parties rather than issues. I think, Webbo, that coming out of perhaps the 50s, 60s, well, 40s, 50s, 60s, even into the 70s, these small islands in my mind banded themselves on issues, and I think the caller is correct that perhaps we may have strayed away from those ideals, and if we look throughout the entire region, we can see that that's an area where I feel that there continue to be some great disparity in, and she would have, for me personally, she would have definitely perhaps said to us that perhaps we need to refocus, we need to be able to look at the areas where we can have perhaps the greater impact across the broader spectrum of our people than perhaps the political various views are well founded.
Who's got the last word?
Well, I suppose, Webbo, many are talking about some other person, such as Jesse Jackson, and I find I will support Mr. I feel in saying that person is within us.
Yep. This program repeats tomorrow at 10 o'clock following the VON News Minute. Join the Honorable Mark Brantley tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock for On the Mark. Join Keith Scarborough on Thursday evening for Government at Work, a place where you can spend all of your evenings right here in the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse. Thank you all again for joining us. This is your voice in the community, thought that get results. You all have a wonderful evening.
The views and opinions expressed